Please, you can't bend the rules just once.
Is it a possible case of life imitating art?
Do you know the team could use some new batting helmets?
You asking for a bribe?
You pretending you're above that?
I got my checkbook.
Felicity Huffman's character bribing her son's baseball coach in an episode of Desperate Housewives. Now, the Emmy Award-winning actress is one of dozens of parents embroiled in the largest alleged college admissions cheating scam ever prosecuted.
The FBI uncovered what we believe is a rigged system.
We may have, well, he may have embellished, lied a bit on our application.
Right now, this story, a California father tells CBS News he believes his 18-year-old son's alcohol-related death was the result of a fraternity hazing ritual.
The worsening hazing scandal tonight at Louisiana State University. This evening, 9 young men have now been arrested as new details now emerge.
2 more of his fraternity brothers face criminal charges, bringing the total to 9 in a brutal hazing case against pledges.
The school was already in the headlines following the death of a pledge at another fraternity. And now this morning, we are learning about some incredibly disturbing allegations. Former fraternity brothers now face serious charges. According to police warrants, pledges claim they were told to lie down on broken glass, forced to sit in an ice machine for more than 30 minutes.
Then urinated on. Others punched in the face, beaten on their back and face with a silver pipe, or kicked in the chest and stomach by a brother wearing steel-toe boots.
Now to new fallout from those disturbing hazing allegations at LSU. Several school administrators have been placed on leave.
Placing at least 3 administrators on leave while the school investigates claims that they ignored reports of violent hazing. The university isn't naming these administrators, but says at least one of them may have heard a rumor about this alleged incident and then did nothing about it.
The death of Noah Domingo has already prompted Sigma Alpha Epsilon to close its chapter at UC Irvine indefinitely. In a new statement to CBS News, Dale Domingo says, "We have discovered the horrifying truth about fraternity hazing." He contends the fraternity was conducting its Big Brother night ritual, where Noah was compelled to guzzle a so-called family drink to become part of his Big Brother's family. He says that his wife fraternities openly refer to this type of ritual as being one of the deadly nights. Authorities say Domingo died at about 3:30 in the morning, but the initial 911 call was some 6 hours later.
Why is he unconscious? What happened?
I mean, he just drank too much.
Disputing the account in the 911 call, Noah's father says his son did not just drink too much. He says experts call such victim blaming tortured rationalizations. The focus on fraternity hazing has intensified in recent years, with the deaths of Penn State sophomore Timothy Piazza and Florida State University fraternity member Andrew Coffey.
We believe everyone charged here today had a role in fostering a culture of corruption and greed that created an uneven playing field for students trying to get into these schools the right way through hard work, good grades, and community service.
An investigation into the biggest college cheating scam ever prosecuted.
Rick Singer knew how to game that system, and worse.
We're not talking about donating a building so that a school's more likely to take your son or daughter. We're talking about deception and fraud.
Some parents spending upwards of $6 million in bribes. Huffman and Laughlin just 2 of 33 parents facing felony charges after allegedly doing whatever it takes to get their kids into top schools.
One of the most egregious cases, a California couple, Manuel and Elizabeth Enriquez, who paid more than $25,000 for someone to manipulate their daughter Isabel's SAT score. According to the indictment, Isabel and her mother gloated that they had cheated and gotten away with it.
But this involves the most elite universities, coaches, the SAT, the ACT. This is really one of the great scandals of the 21st century. Having said that, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg.
The list of those indicted included 33 mostly wealthy parents and a who's who of coaches, entrepreneurs, and celebrities.
Some were even accused of faking disabilities, faking ethnicity so that their children could get special privileges while taking the test, all to get their kids into these top-tier schools like Yale.
Some even photoshopped their children onto real athletes.
Singer and his associates used stock photos that they pulled off the internet, sometimes photoshopping the face of the child onto the picture of the athlete.
Kids' parents now facing jail time include real estate moguls, wine vineyard owners, entrepreneurs like Todd Blake, who tweeted his excitement over his daughter's admission to USC, and trend expert Jane Buckingham, who posted this inspiring Instagram message last spring. "Don't cheat," it reads.
It wasn't just the celebrity actresses or the business leaders. This case also involved college coaches, it involved SAT proctors, and there was one man at the center of it all.
Singer made all of it possible, investigators say, by funneling bribes through a fake college counseling nonprofit called The Key.
When Singer emailed Laughlin that her daughter got in, she responded, "This is wonderful news." Singer replied, "Please continue to keep this hush-hush until March." Laughlin says, "Yes, of course."
Court filings suggest Singer had been scheming for decades. One father asking, "Is there any risk that this blows up in my face?" Singer responds, "Hasn't in 24 years." Singer's elaborate fraud unraveled over the course of a year.
This whole scheme was uncovered by accident.
U.S. attorneys almost discovered it by accident.
That's right, in the context of another investigation.
By FBI agents out of Boston working an unrelated securities fraud case, some pump and dump scheme. And the scheme unraveled from there to become the largest ever college cheating admissions scandal prosecuted in the United States.
We're talking about deception and fraud. Fake test scores, fake athletic credentials, fake photographs, bribed college officials. In return for bribes, these coaches agreed to pretend that certain applicants were recruited competitive athletes, when in fact the applicants were not. As the coaches knew, the students' athletic credentials had been fabricated.
That's the fraud prosecutors say Laughlin participated in. The actress allegedly paid $500,000 in bribes to get her daughters into USC as members of the crew team, even though they didn't row.
Even submitting a photo of one daughter on a rowing machine.
Investigators say that wealthy parents paid the accused ringleader $25 million.
It is one thing to use your money to try to get your child into a better college, which is a crime. But it's quite another thing to be able to buy your way out of jail with the same money. That's not going to happen here.
I wish I could say I'm surprised, but sadly, I am not at all.
Dr. Drew had this to say about the whole issue. Watch.
All roads lead to narcissism. Really, we've had a narcissistic turn in this country for the last 30 to 50 years. When I first started working in a psychiatric hospital, I saw all kinds of different personality disorder diagnostic spectrums. Around the mid-90s, cluster B was all we saw 100% of the time. Sociopath, narcissist, borderline. And if you are a parent, your child is an extension of you, and you cannot stand to see them uncomfortable. And so you have to save them from every discomfort. What their achievements are your achievements. So you have to make sure they achieve. It's a freaking mess.
They don't think that they're going to get caught because these elitists really never think that they're going to get caught. They think that there's a separate system for them, that they deserve it, that they're entitled to this. Meanwhile, they preach all the time about fairness and equality, and they are the moral wardens of our time, and then they do something like this.
Verse 2, for men will be lovers of themselves. I hardly know what to say. Because people have always been lovers of themselves. I mean, is this something that just started in our current generation? But you know what's so strange about our current generation? I don't know if there has ever been such a deliberate, calculated, focused effort to teach a culture to deliberately love themselves the way it has been for the last 40 or 50 years in the Western world. I mean, the love of self has always been out there, make no mistake about it. It's not like we just learned how to do this. But I don't know a time where entire curriculum of school districts has been focused on getting the students to love themselves more. This is something that's just characteristic of people in general, but oh, how it seems so intense, so prevalent in our modern day. I think the better approach is to do what Paul said in Romans chapter 12, verse 3, where he said this, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly. The point isn't to say love yourself or hate yourself. The point is to say simply this, believe what God says about who you are. Both the good, and there's plenty of good, but the bad as well, and there's a good measure of bad. So he goes on, men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, men will be boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, men will be unthankful, unholy, now into verse 3, unloving, unforgiving. And we would say this, that since the beginning of time, these things have been characteristic of humanity. From the very beginning of time, Cain murdered Abel. But we look around at the world that we live in today, and I look at it and I just sort of, friends, I gasp just a little bit. Look, I could go through each item on this list. Lovers of themselves, boy, could we talk about that for a long time? Lovers of money, oh boy. Boasters, proud, blasphemers. And several times before, when I've taught this chapter, I've given a slice from the current news that illustrates each one of those things. And it's easy to do. To coin a phrase, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, the fish are right there. It's not hard. They're just, wow, it's easy. But I think about past times when I've taught this passage. And I wonder if I taught it with the right heart. There's almost a sense in which we read the terrible description of what humanity will be like in the very last days. We see how how frighteningly accurate it is of a description of the present day. To say, Lord, let there be a great harvest. Father, we see so much corruption, so much decadence, so much failure and brutality and weakness, and life is cheap. And we go on and we see it all today, Lord. Father, the times are so black. Would you please shine your light in a glorious way? We want you to rescue people from the brokenness and the depravity and the self-destruction of everything that this describes.
It's a subject stirring a lot of debate. Should Missouri schools offer a Bible course as an elective for students to take? A bill allowing it is on track to becoming a reality.
To approve a bill that would make the Bible an elective class in public schools.
The Bible is a 2,000 plus old document, has a lot of historical significance. It formed our nation.